Good afternoon, advisees. It's time to talk about changing your major. If you came in and you decided that chemistry is just not for you and you have plans to go elsewhere to complete your degree at Purdue, this is where you need to be. This link is in the email I sent for you to make an appointment. So go ahead and find that and get to this page so that you know what you need to do and what grades you need to get to be able to change your major, because each major has different requirements that you need to meet to be able to change your major. So most of you have come in fall of 2020. So on the COTA requirement page, you need to click 2021 COTA requirements to find out what you need to do, what is required of you to change your major. So first off, let's go to something like psychology. So I would like to be a psychology major. What should I do? Let's go to the Health and Human Services page. If you scroll on here, there's information on each one of their majors and what you need to get in. So let's click on Psychological Sciences. Here we go. Psychological Sciences. You need to be here one semester and complete one semester. You need to have 12 credits earned and you need to have a GPA of 2.25. Hey, that's great. What does that mean? Do you think you can change your major right now? Probably not, because most of you don't have a GPA. So you can request to change your major, but it won't become effective until after the semester is over, until you have a grade. There's no space restrictions, and as long as you're not on probation, it's not a problem to change your major. Now, let's go to a different major to look at other requirements. So several of you have expressed interest in engineering. So the College of Engineering COTA requirements are a lot more rigorous than psychology. For those of you who want engineering, my first suggestion is always to try to change your major into first year engineering. Why is that? That's because if you don't get into first year engineering right away, you cannot take any engineering courses. Basically anything ENGR you are restricted from taking because you are not an engineering major. Engineering 131 is the first course you can take. And like I said, you can't take that until you're actually in engineering. So look at the requirements for engineering, first year engineering. A lot more complicated. So let's go over them briefly. The first general requirements is that you need a GPA of 2.7, 12 credits in a semester. So basically you need to be, they won't change your major until you finished your first semester. Now, not only do you need a 2.7 GPA, you also need a 2.7 GPA or better and a C- or better in each of the classes in these categories. What are these categories? Category 1 is a calculus course. Category 2 is a science course. In your case, most of you, it's going to be Chemistry 125, which is right here. Category 3 is basically a gen ed or written communications class. So humanities, behavioral science, English 106. Basically, if you are in any of those courses, they're going to take all three of these and average the GPA from just those three courses to give you a engineering GPA. And that GPA needs to be better than a 2.7. Now, what's the other issue with this major? It is space available basis only after holistic review. Space is limited. What does that mean? That means that it's very, very likely, unless a lot of people drop out of engineering, that if you have a 2.7, you are not going to get into first year engineering. They are going to start with the students who have a 4.0 and go from down from there to choose people to actually be able to get into first year engineering. The space available basis means that if they don't have space for you, you cannot get in. This is why you need to really read carefully what the requirements are. So for first year engineering, they have a whole website with directions on exactly what you need to do to change your major. I would read this very, very, very thoroughly, because what they want you, there's the process right here. So you can go through the process and know exactly what you need to do to be able to change your major. And that's something that you need to follow, because if you don't follow that, this is a problem. And it decreases your chances of getting in, because they are very much sticklers to make sure that you follow their rules to be able to get into the major that you want. Going back to engineering, some of you will want to change your major directly into the major you want, say chemical engineering or civil engineering. You can do that, but generally it takes 2 semesters. So you would have to complete coursework in the fall and in the spring to be able to then change your major over. And most of these do not. You can directly change your major into the engineering class without having taken any engineering. So for instance, in chemical engineering, that GPA is rather high. It's a 3.3. In addition, a 3.3 in all of these courses. No, there's no engineering. These are the core courses you need to be a chemical engineer. So if you complete all of these courses in a 3.3, generally it takes you 2 semesters unless you actually have all of it that came in from AP or dual credit. That's what you need to do to be able to change your major to chemical engineering. In addition, again, space available basis only. That's something you have to keep in mind with some of these engineering majors, is that they are very space restricted and you can't get in without without a very, very good GPA. So what happens now? So the first thing I want you to do is go through these COTA requirements. Make sure you understand what you need to be able to change your major. Second, for any major but FYE, I want you to go and visit an advisor in that department. A lot of the times on these pages, they will actually tell you how. So for instance, in engineering, if you click that page, oftentimes there are links to the specific departments so that you can get help. If you don't know how to contact somebody in the department, let me know and I will get you some links so that you can go visit them. First year engineering, you do not need to visit an engineering advisor, only because there are so many first year engineers and the advisors are very busy and the classes are spelled out very carefully. You really don't need to see one for first year. But for things like chemical and civil, yes, you should go see an advisor in those majors before you decide to change your major. So after that, I would follow all the directions they require to be able to change your major. For instance, in HHS, there's a link on their major change page where you actually fill out a Qualtrics survey, and then that will allow you to schedule a time to meet with their advisors in their department. Once you've done that, and only once you've done that, then you can schedule your appointment with me. Do not see me before you've seen another advisor, except for first year. I want you to go talk to somebody in that department before you even talk to me about submitting your request to change your major. The other thing too is that if you're thinking about something like liberal arts where you want to change your major to English or Japanese, please be sure to be in a class in your major before you change your major. I want you to be able to experience what that major is like at Purdue before you decide to switch over to a new major. Now, the other thing is, once you know you want to change, you can tell me at our meeting or send me an email and that's a request that you'd like to change your major, and then I can put that in their system to make the request for the major change. Most of the time, you will not find out until at the end of this semester whether or not you met the requirements to be able to change your major. You can keep going multiple semesters to try to get into a certain major, but we have a limit. You can't be a chemistry major for 4 years and not be following the chemistry plan of study. So that's something we can discuss when you're at my meeting. But like I said, follow the directions in the email I sent to make the appointment. And the big thing is, do not see me before you have seen someone in another department to talk about courses. If you have any questions, please drop me an email and have a good day. Thanks.